All humans need 5 things to survive. Food, air, shelter, heat, and water. Water is one thing many of us don't think about too often. I mean, open your tap and voila, crystal clear water comes flowing out of it. But that's not the case everywhere. 11% of Canadian homes don't get municipal water supplies. That means that city water you get out of your tap that people think is terrible for you, 11% of our population doesn't get.
So after reading that statistic, I remembered something. I can't even drink the water out of my own tap. This is my house. I grew up just outside of Binbrook, Ontario. I lived here since I was 8 months old. We've never been able to actually drink the water out of our tap. Our house runs on cistern water. We have eaves troughs coming down from the roofs, and we collect rainwater. So what would happen if we drank the tap water?
I honestly don't know. I wouldn't want to try. We get the big water jugs that you usually take camping, and we go to the public tap in Smithville, and we fill up these water jugs.
That got me wondering, do our neighbors do the same things we do? So I set out to find out.
We have a 70-foot well.
First up was Shirley Froman. The Fromans have had a 70-foot well for 38 years. But due to the amount of sulfur in their water lately, they are now switching to a cistern
ever
system.
run out of water, even in the driest summer.
Oh.
So, but it's the water, nature of the water has changed slightly, and we're tired of putting so many machines on our water.
Yeah.
So we'll be getting rid of those machines, and we'll be converting to the cistern water, which is bought city
it's
water.
good water.
It's just, it's not pleasant.
I buy bottled
water for drinking, just for drinking, not for anything else.
Right.
And I mean.
Next up was Chris Emery. The Emerys have filtered eaves troughs and drink reverse osmosis water.
It is better than double distilled water. So distilled water is where you boil water, you collect the water vapor, condense it, and that removes a lot of the impurities from the water. RO water is where you force water through a membrane, and what happens is that you have basically just water molecules coming through the membrane. Because you've stripped all those ions out of the water that are normally in water that we need to live, you've got to make sure that in your diet you're putting those ions back in. So if you are going to use RO water for drinking purposes such as we do, you need to make sure that you're putting those ions back into your diet.
Lisa Burton runs the local dog kennel. She has 5 dogs, 4 horses, 18 chickens, 2 stepsons, and a husband. And a 127-foot well.
Horses. I use it for everything.
Everything?
The kennel, the dogs, the horses. I drink it too, but it's treated because we have hard water out here. So I have an ionizer, I have a salt water softener on it, I have ultraviolet, so it's drinkable. I test it twice a year. Ground runoff?
Yeah.
I don't really worry that much about that because I test the water. If I didn't test the water, I'd be a little bit more concerned. Keep on top of that. There's alarms on it if it's not working properly. So.
Yeah. The Matthews who live beside us have a cistern tank.
See, it's full up right now. But we drop about 6 ounces of bleach into that 2,200 gallons to knock out the E. coli, because that's our septic tank over there. Our septic tank is behind the house, but our septic field is out there. And from the edge of this tank to that field is supposed to be 15 meters. That's the minimum because you worry about contamination. And it was contaminated. And I was actually sick for about a year because of it.
We have it delivered in.
Lastly, we visited Joe Babick. They have a cistern which is filled up with city water.
We drink that. We also get bottled water. It's $60 a load. Oh, we get double load.
Yeah.
So we have a big tank. We have a 9,000-gallon tank.
So next time you reach for that glass of water from the tap, just remember us. We are rural. Getting water for us is expensive and sometimes not that clean, but we make do. Maybe one day, someone will care.